Okay, wave your hand in the air like you just don't care. Keep waving them like this. Okay, we are live. We are live. This is the most beautiful part of it. This is the most beautiful part of it. Going live, it's just so amazing what technology has done for us, and how we can be in one part of the country, another part of the country, and to still come together as one. It's so amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you today to one of my colleagues, sisters. We've been around together in organizations, we've been on speaking platforms, we've done it all together. I've gone to Costa Rica with her. She had a retreat in Costa Rica. And of course, she's been on many of my platforms. And it's just amazing how we meet people online and God allows us to come offline and we get to meet in person and we're still together today. And her name is none other than Paty Mariposa Hernandez. Come on, give yourself some energy, sis. Give yourself some energy. I'm going to read a little bit about Paty. Paty is a traumatic informed holistic practitioner and founder of Mariposa Holistic Healing. With over 20 years of experience bridging traditional mental health practices and energy healing, she supports awakening healers, therapists, wellness practitioners, and sensitive leaders in reclaiming their intuition, regulating their nervous systems, and leading from an aligned, soul-rooted presence. Through her traumatic informed training, events, and retreats, she helps others become ethically grounded, spiritually connected, and trauma-aware leaders in their field. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Paty Mariposa to the platform. Woo! Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm so glad to have you, Mary, again today. And we're going to start by a few questions. I want to ask you a few questions. And so you can give our listeners a little bit about, a lot really, about what you do and how you actually serve humanity. Because this is important as entrepreneurs, that we walk in our calling. And I'm so grateful that you taking the time out to share this information. And to begin with, I want to ask you a question. What inspired you to bridge traditional mental health with energy healing?
Yes. Wonderful question. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's such an honor to reconnect with you. And yes, we go way back from spending time together in Miami and now look at this connecting here. What a great way that technology and just our paths have led us. Speaking of paths, that's exactly what my path has taught me. So my background is I am a licensed clinical social worker. I've been a social worker for over 20 years, as you've mentioned. And one of the things that I've learned as a social worker is to really look at people from a holistic lens. So different from psychologists where they really look at how people think, as a social worker, we look at how are they impacted by how they live, the people they surround themselves with, by their environments, what their physical health, their mental health, their social health, all of these different factors, including spiritual health. But a
Mm,
lot of times people are very disconnected in these different areas. And what I've learned that through energy healing is that one component that isn't very much discussed in social work is the component of the body. So it's different from physical health. What we're talking about, the body, is that's where it stores all of our memories from the moment that we're conceived in our mother's womb. We are receiving whatever our mother was going through, even what the environments that they were living in, we're absorbing that. And then our own situations that we were brought up, whether we were brought up in poverty or we were brought up with riches or we were abandoned physically or mentally, all of that is stored in the body. And so what I've noticed is that there was a disconnect when I would talk to my clients. they would say, okay, I would have all of these issues. And then I would notice that their bodies would either constrict, or they would be talking about these horrific situations, and their faces would be intact. They wouldn't be crying. They wouldn't be like, I definitely cannot play poker, because you tell me something, I'm like, oh my goodness, tell me
Yeah.
more, what's going on? Like, I can totally show it on my face. But somebody who's experienced a lot of trauma,
Hmm.
they actually become frozen, but they're not
Wow.
aware of that. And so what I do is I help educate and bridge of like, okay, what is your body saying in relation to what you're just talking about?
Mm. Wow. Yeah, and understanding our body and how our body responds and reacts to many different things that come our way, especially those things that are unexpected and out of our control. Those are the hardest.
Yes.
And knowing how our body is responding to it, being aware is very is important. And I believe that I love what you're saying. And I believe that all of that, everything what you're saying, how to get us to focus on all of that, those things and how it affects us, it has to do with our mindset. And that's why people like you, and with your expertise comes in handy, and you are valuable, invaluable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes people, we always hear it so often, but people don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
And this is why we have to
Yeah.
come to the experts like yourself so that we can be enlightened and be educated. And then the more we educate ourselves, make an investment in ourselves, educate, then the more we can be a better asset for those that God have called us to serve. I love it. I love it. I love it. So my next question to you then is this. What does it really mean mm, to move from overwhelm to alignment? Mm. And how does the nervous system play a role in that transformation? I hope I didn't ask too much at one time. I can break it down for you if I have to.
No, that's totally fine. Let's just first begin with the nervous system, because a lot of people focus on, like you said, overwhelm or stress. These are words. But when we understand what our body is doing, that's going to help us shift from that overwhelmed state to an alignment state, which is, like you said, it's not only a state of mind, it's a state of the body. So the nervous system is constantly keeping us safe. So if the nervous system believes or feels that it's in danger because of a memory, so let's say we're walking down the street and all of a sudden our memory picks up a smell or a sound, or even it sees a flower that may have been connected to a past trauma,
Mhm.
then the body is going to react, and it's going to either run away from the
Yep.
situation, it's going to run towards the situation before your mind can even react to, like, wait, what am I doing? It's acting before that. So one of the thing, and what you mentioned earlier, is that state of awareness. So when we notice our body is starting to react, so our heart is beating, our pulse is racing, our breath is getting much more heightened, we start to hold ourselves, tighten up, get tense. That is overwhelm. That is stress. That's the nervous system thinking that it's in a state of an attack. Things
Okay.
like a bear is coming after it. So then what we do is to shift it, to transform it, is we find a way to self-regulate. And self-regulation comes in a variety of ways, but the first one is awareness. It's telling ourselves, hey, there's not a bear. We're not going to die. We're okay. And what can I do to be safe? That could be, maybe let me cross the other side of the street, or let me call someone, or let me just talk to myself out loud, not in your head. Don't go in here because this is a place of chaos. We want to just talk it out. Was that helpful?
That was good. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I like you how you explained it about self-regulating, and you definitely true when we in situations we either go they used to call it at work flight or anyway run
Fight,
away.
flight,
Same thing
or
you said,
freeze. Mm-hmm.
and that's basically it. And when we should instead of doing that panicking, if we just stop, breathe, and think it through, but we cannot think it through, Patty, without
Mm-mm.
the tools. And that's why she's here today, ladies and gentlemen, to give us the tools that we need so that when we are in dilemmas like this, that we can overcome them and we can gain back our position, and our mental state. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
very that nervous system all can affect our mental state as well when we are put in situations that can affect
Exactly.
us emotionally, mentally, and definitely spiritually. And I just want to say that yes, everything that you said makes sense to me. And in your experience, how does nervous system regulation, since we're on the subject, how does nervous system regulation help people to reconnect mm, with their intuition and guidance? Mm,
Yes. Oh my goodness. This a lot of times I love this question because a lot of people get really confused about intuition or inner guidance, right? Sometimes some people say, well, God doesn't want me to do this. I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Let's talk about that. Let's reconnect to that. And so, with the nervous system, that is an inner guidance. That is your body telling you, okay, I think I'm in danger, so I'm going to react in this way. But what the intuition is once you're able to calm yourself down, because you have to self-regulate first, because you're not going to be able to connect to your intuition nor your inner guidance if you're in a heightened state of stress. Think of a child who is having a temper tantrum. He is not going to get out of that temper tantrum by talking to him. He's
mm,
going to have to like find a way to get all of that energy out, and then he's going to be able to calm down, and then he's going to be able to notice, oh, I'm safe, I'm okay.
mm.
And that's a child. That child is already connecting to that intuition without understanding that they're connecting to intuition. The problem with adults is we start to get convoluted with intuition. As a social worker, we're not really taught to use intuition very often. Yet, a lot of us do talk about it when we say, my gut instinct,
Yeah.
or this is what I felt or I was guided to do. I was like, yes, that's your intuition. That's your inner guidance. That's your direction to the lighthouse. So, again, just to be able to calm that nervous system first is going to be the most important thing.
Uh,
Once you do that, then you get to hone in on your intuition of asking yourself, okay, what can I do in this situation? And like I said, my go to, and I always tell all of the clients and anyone I work with, and especially the audience, is actually talk out loud. Don't think about it, but talk it out, and you're able to answer what it is that you're struggling with. But if you think about it, keep in mind you have over 30,000 thoughts in your head at a given time. So you're trying to combat that. It's not going to work. Talking it out, it's one direction.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is so good. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to take a little short commercial break, but you have given us a wealth of information. And I almost forgot to take my break, my commercial break, but it's all good. It's all good. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go to commercial break. And if you we're gonna be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
What a year! 2025 was filled with empowerment, elevation, and expansion. Here's how unity and service made waves in 2025. Entrepreneurs Living the Dream Conference was hosted in Atlanta, on October the 18th. It was a powerhouse weekend of speakers, authors, and connections. Our Spotlight on You podcast series elevated voices from around the globe. Powerful visibility in action. Unity in Service hosted 10 virtual speaking opportunities and workshops, which allowed speakers to gain confidence, get new leads, and new partnerships. Our collaboration book, Elevate Your Visibility, launched with powerful stories of influential leaders serving humanity. In 2025, entrepreneurs learned real strategies to grow their brand and monetize their message. Thank you for showing up, shining bright, and standing tall in your purpose. Let's make 2026 even more rewarding. If you desire to speak and gain more visibility in 2026, Unity in Service has you covered. Scan the barcode or schedule for full details. We look forward to seeing you as we kick off the new year. I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, CEO and Visibility Strategist of Unity in Service, where people need.
Give me some energy. Give me some energy. Come on, come on, come on. I love doing videos. Okay, we are really winding this thing up, but I still have a couple more questions to ask you, sis. You feel up to it?
Let's go.
Okay. I would like to know, I would like to know what are some of the common misconceptions about intuition or nervous system healing that you often find yourself clarifying? And I'm going to ask that again. What are some common misconceptions about intuition or nervous system healing that you often find yourself clarifying?
Great question. Well, one of the things that a lot of people think about when we talk about intuition is that one, you either are very spiritual or a guru or something of that, or religious even, or that you have to be gifted in some way. Like a lot of times, like I've been doing energy healing work for over 10 years, and I didn't really understand myself what intuition was until I started to understand more what energy is. And energy is really about intention that flows. So just like when we pray with intention. We want the energy to go in a certain direction. Energy healing does the same thing. Intuition is basically it's something that we're all born with. And when we trust it from a young age, no matter what other people say, when we trust that gut feeling, that energy that comes before we even understand logically. I'll give you a perfect example of intuition that a lot of us incorporate, but we don't know that we do. One of the things that you talked about is events. You do a lot of events, both virtually and in person. We can actually experience a person's energy virtually as well as in person. And so sometimes we're gravitating towards a certain person. Like I remember when I met you, it was actually at a networking event or a presentation many years ago in Miami. And I remember thinking, this woman is amazing. I don't know who she is. It definitely stands out. I was like, I really want to be part of her circle. And left it at that. And years later, our world just kept coming in and out. But I never even spoke to you at that event. Right? You probably don't remember. I
don't remember.
But it was that. So that was the intuition. Like I already felt your energy before even getting to know you. And so that was this intuition of like, this person feels safe. This person is nice. This person is kind. But I had no idea who you were.
Wow.
But again, it's that intuition that I trusted. And look at where we are now.
Yeah.
Right? So the more that we can trust that gut feeling. And I'm not saying the feeling up here, because the feeling up here actually confuses us, because this is where there's a lot of compassion, anxiety, nervousness. But the gut feeling is literally that, your gut, the lower part of your body, that tells us this person is safe, this situation is safe, I feel safe, so I'm going to stay in this area. But the moment I don't feel good, and again, I'm using the word feeling, not
Feeling.
thinking. Feeling is what we experience in the body. Thinking is what happens in here, and it's not always a very comfortable place to be.
You are absolutely right about that. I'm cheating right now. I've been posting on social media. This thing is, you're doing such a great job. This is such valuable information. I thought I'd just scoops could download over there on LinkedIn and drop. It's already posted, but I wanted to post it again in the feed. Yeah, because this is part of what we do in sharing out, getting you visibility on your brand. Because you're saying
Yes.
some very, very powerful stuff. And I love that word intuition. And I believe that I believe I'm going in. This is not a part of, I'm just thinking this. This is how I feel about tuition. Intuition. I feel that intuition comes at different levels.
Mm.
That's all I have to say. I got to do my research later, but that was just dropped in my spirit. You know, and I know that I have a keen sense of intuition.
Yes.
And you're right. It's about emotions. I love that that you're breaking it down like that, because I never thought of that it was just emotions. I just know that I have it, but it is emotions. And they will guide you
Mm-hmm.
if we listen. And a lot of
Yes.
times, that's why a lot of times we hear people say, "Oh, there were so many red flags before tragedy happened to some people." Oh, let's use a relationship for instance. There were so many red flags as to why she should have married him.
Mm-hmm.
That's intuition, but she overrode those. We can override those feelings
Yes.
because it goes back to what we thinking. Well, it might work. And
I'll
then
make it work.
yeah. And then we want to take control, and the intuition already telling you, hold up, boo, wait, not yet. But at any rate, I just want to throw that in. I love this topic. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you another question before we wrap this thing up. I want to know, can you share a simple daily practice that helps people stay grounded and aligned, even in stressful times? And you must know I needed that question. I need that answer. I need you to answer
Oh, yes. I love this question. I mean, I can definitely give quite a few. I'm going to go with two. And one we already talked about, which was breathing. And I know so many of my clients, they're like, I know you're going to tell me to breathe. I'm like, I'm not telling you to breathe. Like, you're already breathing because you're talking to me. But what I want you to do is intentionally breathe. So what you're going to actually do is you're going to focus on your belly, your abdomen, and you're going to intentionally, I call it, become that Buddha belly, where with the inhale, it's going to expand. And with your exhale, you start to deflate it. And so what you're doing is you're focusing more on your breath than you are on the problem. Contrary to belief, we are not really good at multitasking. It actually causes us more stress because our brain has to switch from one task to another. So if you stay focused on your breath, and even just 3 intentional breaths is enough to self-regulate you, to calm yourself down, so that you can then refocus on whatever it is that you need to do. So that's one really quick technique. And another thing that you actually do a lot is movement. So just like you do this, imagine if you did your entire body just like dogs do. So when dogs are stressed or fearful, right, to get out of that, what do? They do the whole doggy shake, the whole body shake, and then they're like, hi, hey, let's play.
Yeah.
You're like, you're just growling 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And then they literally shook it off, and now they're like back to their happy self. And
Wow.
that, it sounds super simple, but our bodies, when it can feel safe, so when we intentionally breathe and when we can basically get out of that freeze state and move our bodies, then we self-regulate and our bodies kind of go back to like, okay, where am I? Am I in danger? What can I do? Then we go back into logic, into more the regular part of the brain that gets to think about and then identify what can we do next.
Wow. Awesome. 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 Yeah, I like that. I like the example you used about the dog shaking themselves too. Yeah, and I never thought about that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Movement definitely loosens up some of our stresses, really, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why even when we started using Zoom a lot, it came to a point where people, and it's true, people started saying, telling us telling us to get up at least every so many minutes, 15, 30 minutes or whatever, walk around or just stretch, do something, you know. So you're right. It's a lot of value in that it movement is definitely stress related to stress, relieving and stress. And same thing with me
Mm-hmm.
walking in the evenings. I know I should do it every day, and I feel so good when I do it, Patty. But
Yeah.
then there are days I know I should do it, and I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what? You can actually think about it. So if you imagine yourself walking, your brain will actually start moving the muscles just like if you're physically walking. Again, not going to say don't walk, but if you want to just sit for 5 minutes and imagine yourself walking, because let's say, hey, it might be too cold, or it's raining, or it's just
Right.
not possible, you can imagine yourself doing it, and your body is going to believe it's happening. Like you said, mindset is key. When we believe it,
It
then
is.
it becomes reality.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I'm gonna have you. Do you have any before we close out, because we have certainly gone far beyond the call of duty, but it's been good. And I wanted to know if you have a special gift or anything maybe you would like to share with the listening audience. What's on your website? I see your website is right beneath your name. And if you want
Yes.
them to go to your website, just tell our listening audience what you have for them today.
Definitely. So to be quickly, my website, Mariposas Holistic, which is right below my beautiful face, right there. It is, when you go to it, there's a resources, and I have a free ebook and meditation for the Reiki principles. That's something that you can download and practice. Those are 5 principles that just help you align throughout the day. There's also other meditations. And then, of course, you can check out my events. I offer both in person here in Miami and as well virtual events. And then I'll be updating soon my 2026 retreat calendar. I have one coming up in March in Sebastian, Florida, and then one coming up in September in Colombia. So
Oh, wow.
I know,
Oh,
because I love to travel. So I love
that's
taking people
awesome.
with me
Yeah.
too, as you know.
Awesome. Okay, okay, okay. So we have to, yeah, you keep making that announcement. I got some things on my calendar, but if I can fit it in, I'll certainly fit it in. But we'll talk more about that later. And I just want you all to go to my website at the bottom of my right here, right there. What is it? Right here, right here, right here, right here.
Yeah,
Right.
you got
Yeah,
it.
drpatriciarogers.com. And also you can get a complimentary gift there, and it talks about speaking opportunities that you're able to receive during 2026. Talks about just other things. This ebook. There's the ebook there that talks about the value of public speaking as well. And we would love to have you join us at our upcoming January event. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close. I love you, sis. It's been great. And in our closing, I would like for you to share one affirmation, something
Yes.
positive that they can take with them after this amazing interview.
Mm. Well, one of my affirmations and constant reminder is life is better when you're laughing. So no matter what darkness is happening around you, find a reason to laugh, and that will help move a lot of yuckiness so that you can feel better.
Awesome. Awesome. And I am going to close with one of my favorite sayings, and that is people fail not because of the lack of desire. People fail because of a lack of commitment. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, visibility strategist, and I am the CEO of Unity in Service, where people need